Okay, let's see how this one turns out. It's quite an interesting one. I don't know if it's really going to work that well because it's got a lot of detail, and having the image being too busy often makes it look shit. But we'll find out how we're going to make it look. Going to reduce it or just keep it on 100. This will be a challenging one. Going to make it negative positive, and I wonder what background colour we're going to give to this one. We're going to not put it in, it's got so much colour it's hard to decide. Actually, we're going here. This is a negative positive, we normally do it like this. Okay. And the hue, we're going to give it some coolness. Okay, let's see what we can do with this one. This one here is called How It Works. So this is like a science and futuristic sort of a magazine. So that'll be interesting. And I look at this part, medical implants, and I look forward to that because one day, let me just tell you something, folks. I've had brain damage at birth. Parts of the brain that got damaged include both the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that converts short-term memory to long-term memories, and the short-term memory itself. So I've got a problem with learning, big time. And there's other parts of the brain I believe have failed, but I don't know until I get tested one day for this. I'm very smart in other areas of the brain, like I've got lots of analytical reasoning, and I'm quite good at, the language part of my brain seems to still work, but because of the hippocampus and the short-term memory being so low, I can't learn new languages. So basically I'm stuffed. But basically I look forward to a future where they'll have the brain implants that will actually help me be able to do a lot of things that I can't currently do, like going to TAFE and studying, but I don't want to go to TAFE. I want to go beyond TAFE. I want to go and go to uni, and basically I've got a dream of one day designing a photocopier that's artificially intelligent, and basically that's going to require a lot of science, and my future husband is probably going to do most of the work on this to start with. Like, I wouldn't be able to take it over until after I've been implanted. I don't know when they're going to have these implants, but basically I look forward to a bright future if they can make them happen. So I'm just going to put this one on green. But yeah, I don't think it's probably time for me to go right into what's going to happen and how I'm going to, what dreams I have. I've got a lot of things I want to do, and basically they involve running a company and being a scientist at the same time. So yeah, we'll just see how this looks. But yeah, let's see if we can make this look really good. But yeah, that looks interesting. That's really green. That's really overrun with green. I think that looks quite nice, actually, the colour in that. Well, I won't bother going into my future as I see it at this stage. I think we'll just make this demo and enjoy it, because there are a lot of things I want to do on my bucket list, but at the moment, one of the first things I have to do is I have to get married to my future husband, Luigi. Now, this is going to be donated to a waiting room, and we're just going to use this as our master copy. But basically, I look forward to doing a lot of really good things for mankind one day in the future, but we're not there yet, and for some reason I don't feel it's my time at this stage during this demo just to talk about it. I think basically for some reason I just don't feel it's the right kind of time. I'm just trying to think which part's going to the top and which parts. We're going to enlarge this slightly. But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do, and things that to help mankind and all that shit. And basically, but the thing is, I still got to get through the day on my own, making YouTube videos and shit like that, to try and hopefully make a name for myself as a copier configuration artist. This is what I'm best at. There's no need for implants here. My brain does this job like I'm doing now, not reasonably well, it does it really well. I mean, there are areas that I could be improved if I had the implants, my stupid fucking machine, my brain could do better enlargements and reductions, like mathematical sort of shit, but I'm not going to worry about the math too much because I can do pretty well most of this shit without too much trouble. Which is kind of, you could think it was a bit strange, but it's amazing just how much of my brain actually still works. But I had a cord around my neck and I came out breech. That's how the brain damage occurred. And my mum used to allege, she doesn't seem to remember it anymore, but she used to say that the nurses, or should I say the doctors, I was born on the 1st of January 1973, so you can imagine those nurses or doctors, I think it was doctors and midwives, no one was there to help my mum when I was being born, so she ended up, so she basically gave birth to me virtually on her own, and basically there was no doctors or midwives to help her. Whoa. They didn't help her, so basically she had to give birth on her own, and she was torn apart physically by the birth. You can imagine a breech birth, and basically the doctors and the nurses weren't there to help her, or the midwives, whatever you call them. So more damage happened to my brain than if the doctors were there ready to deliver me, but I got delivered virtually on my mum's own. And too late, the damage had been done, and it seems as if I've had a near-death experience as well. I wouldn't be alive. I should have been dead, perhaps, but it was amazing I still survived. And my mum, she could have got nasty infections because there was apparently the toilets were overflowing, and there was pads and other sanitary items floating around in the toilet water on the floor at the hospital in Guam. It was disgusting. She should have died of infection because of her injuries and the fact that the place was so squalid, from what she's told me years ago. So I'm not happy with that hospital and what they did, how they handled my birth. I could have got on a lot better at school and at TAFE if I didn't have this fucking injuries to the extent that I've got. But I do look forward to the future when they have the neural implants that'll help me to allow me to make my bucket list come to life, so to speak. My bucket list, this is a term that a lot of people use these days. It just means what you're going to do before you die, what you want to do before you die. The list of what you want to do before you basically kick the bucket. In other words, kick the bucket just means die. It's a silly little phrase, but that's some of the language, the lingo you get in the common people, the normal people, the people who have an IQ between 90 and 110, the average person. But anyway, colour-wise, that looks really good. It's mostly cool colours, a little bit of hot. It's a bit different, so I think now we can call this one quits.